I'm at Casa de Luz, a vegan restaurant here in Austin, sitting at a table with a woman. She and I haven't been in contact for 2 months, but when I think about her, my heart still races. We spend the first hour laughing. My jaw is tired from smiling. As adults, we should not be laughing like this, and we can't help it. I love her, and I think she still loves me. We are here because I have a question for her. I practiced asking it in the car on the drive over, so hopefully it comes out okay. My therapist, who has been impartial on everything I've shared with him in the last 2 years, was adamant that I not ask this question. But I'm not going to let that stop me. She and I met a year ago when I moved to Austin, since we go to the same yoga studio. We get in the habit of chatting as we roll up our mats and put on our shoes, and eventually our conversations start to linger in the lobby. One night I'm sitting in my car in the parking lot of the yoga studio after class, and there's a knock on my window. It's her. She's come over to give me her number. She says she knows I'm new here, and if I ever want to explore Austin with a local, she would be happy to join me. Now, I'm pretty good at missing signals of interest from women, but even I noticed this. That said, I am from New Jersey, and it's very alarming to me how friendly and warm people are here in Austin. So I'm not sure if I've just been met with Southern hospitality or she left the door wide open for me to ask her out. Either way, when I get home that night, I send her a text inviting her to join me to the Lady Bird Johnson Wildflower Center. We're both busy, but we find a time in 2 weeks. In the meantime, we text, and some nights she asks me what I'm grateful for that day. I always answer with 3 things, 1 small, 1 medium, and 1 large thing that I'm grateful for. She loves that I do this, and I love that she loves that I do this. I am so attracted to this woman. She has this feminine gentleness to her, and at the same time is a triathlete. She's graceful but grounded, and I can tell from her eyes when she smiles it's with her heart. 2 weeks pass, and I text to confirm we're on for the next day, but she responds with a very long message. She tells me that she's been on a few dates with a guy and is interested in focusing on one person at a time, so cancels our plans. I am not happy about this, but I respect how she's going about dating. We still see each other at the yoga studio and chat while we roll up our mats, but no longer linger in the lobby and no more texts. Like her, I'm dating intentionally. I want to get married and have kids. I have known that I want to have kids since I was a kid. But more than having kids, I want to do the act of fathering. I want to build forts and sing lullabies and be there for their first heartbreak. I'm so excited about this part of my life. I started writing songs about it more than a decade ago. A few weeks later, at yoga class, as we're rolling up our mats, she tells me she's about to go to Juiceland to get a smoothie if I'd like to join her. I say, as a newcomer here, it's only right that I have an Austin native take me for my first time to this local institution. So we go. Standing outside of Juiceland drinking our smoothies, I learn that she's vegan, which I am not. However, I have a surefire way of connecting with vegans here in Austin, and that is over the fantastic ice cream at Gotti. So I ask her, what is your favorite flavor at Gotti? And she's never heard of it. She says we should check it out sometime. Now, I don't want to get too excited, but I do anyway. A week later, we are in my car on our way to Gotti, stopped at a red light. Under normal circumstances, I would turn right on red. However, in this moment, there is a beautiful woman sitting 2.5 feet to my right, and while I am not concerned about getting us there safely, turning right on red is a little more than I can manage right now. So I wait for the light to turn green. Sitting at Gotti, eating our ice cream, I finally ask her, so, how are things going with this guy? She tells me that ended, and I try not to celebrate too visibly. Our conversation drifts to her niece and nephew and their last visit, where they built forts together. I tell her that building forts is roughly 20% of the reason that I want kids. And she tells me that having nieces and nephews does that just as well. My ears perk up at this, and I have a sense that she doesn't want kids. A little later, she confirms my suspicion that she does not want kids. Of course, this was too good to be true. Later that week, we are at a noon class on a summer Friday. It is a hot day out, and as we are rolling up our mats, she says it's a great day for Barton Springs. I've never been and couldn't help myself. I said, as a newcomer here, it's only right that I have an Austin native take me for my first time to this local institution. So we both play hooky from work and go. We are laying on a blanket at Barton Springs, and she tells me, even though we are not a match long term, she still wants me to come home with her. Now, this sounds amazing. However, I have learned about myself that to get physically involved with a woman is to get emotionally involved with her, and if this is not going to go somewhere, I have a lot of hesitation about that. And I tell her this, despite some shame, because as a guy, I feel like I should be chasing casual sex, or at the very least, accepting the opportunities that are presented to me. She listens without any judgment whatsoever. She is so easy to talk to. She asks, but aren't we already emotionally involved? And that is true. She works in school, so has summers off, and is going to be leaving Austin for 2 months in 48 hours. The next night, after much deliberation, I am sitting on her bed. There's a guitar in the corner, and she tells me I can play. I play her a song that I wrote. The first verse is, I'm picturing 3 kids in their car seats. I grab your ass as we take our time loading the groceries. You're not quite sure if you're angry. I'd be lying if I didn't say that look was sexy. The chemistry we enjoyed at the yoga studio and over ice cream in Barton Springs were all trustworthy indicators of the chemistry that we have here in her apartment. Our first kiss is amazing, and the night only gets better from there. The next night, we get dinner and go back to my place. I tell her that there are 3 ancient Greek words for different types of love, and I feel all of them about her. She is much more economical. She only needs 3 words to tell me she loves me. At this point, we are mad bargaining with ourselves. I'm wondering, do I really need kids? And she tells me the idea of having kids with me feels different than when she's thought about it before. It is 4 a.m. on a Tuesday morning, and I am driving her back to her apartment, hoping to catch every single red light along the way to squeeze out whatever seconds I can with her before we go back to having only rolling up our mats and putting on our shoes to connect over. I walk her to her apartment and say goodnight. Later in the summer, I'm talking with a friend, and our conversation gets on to what I would do if my future wife and I couldn't have kids. And I say, that's obvious. I would want to adopt. It's not my first choice, but I wouldn't let that stop me and the woman I've chosen to spend my life with from building the lives that we want. And in that moment, I realized I never asked this woman if her thoughts about having kids changes with the idea of adoption, and I have to ask her when she gets back. So we are here at Casa de Luz. My jaw is tired from smiling, and I tell her, I know the reason we are not together is kids, and I am not trying to convince you of anything. But I never asked you if your thought about having kids changes with the idea of adoption, because if it did, I would want to know that. She tells me that she's not sure. And a tiny part of me, the hopeful part, hears that as possibility. The rest of me realizes that while I am absolutely dating for my future wife, I am also choosing who my kids will have as their mother someday. And I want them to have a mother who knows she wants kids as much as I do. I used to think when 2 people love each other, they should do whatever it takes to make it work. And now I realize sometimes loving someone means letting them go so you can both enjoy the lives of your dreams. Thank you.